Thank you for continually watching my videos. Those who are watching on Facebook, kindly share. Facebook is blocking my live videos and not letting people see it. I don't know why. So if you're watching on Facebook, kindly share. The more we share, the more people watch, the more that ban is taken away. We have a lot to talk about. My videos can't be banned on Facebook. So if you're watching on Facebook, kindly share. Post it on a group. Within a group you are, post it on a timeline, a page you manage. Let's spread the message. So thank you for being on one more time. Let's share so the ban will go away. I don't know why Facebook is blocking my live videos so people cannot have access to it. Can we share? The more we share, the more that ban will go away. Thank you. Thank you for being on. You can equally share on your timeline, a page you manage, so that that ban of not letting people see my live videos would be taken away. The subject for tonight, are we holistically educated? Are we holistically educated? The illiterates of the 21st century will not be those who cannot read and write, but those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. So declared Alvin Toffler. My question tonight, are we holistically educated? Are we educated? Are we educated? My question tonight, I'll share the link in due time, so you can as well share your comments too. You can equally type in the message column, the comment section, and I'll read it aloud. Let's broach over the difficult conversations that we equally know we need. The illiterates of the 21st century will not be those who cannot read and write, but those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. So declared Alvin Toffler. My question tonight, are we holistically educated? If so, why can't we learn, unlearn, and relearn? Is being able to read and write enough? Why should some be considered illiterates and others literate when we all went to school? We all went to school. So why should some be considered illiterates whilst others are considered literates? Let's go down to having this conversation then. What then is education? When you hear education, what comes to your mind? Education is the process where an individual acquires basic knowledge, or the process where an individual imparts basic knowledge to another. So it all boils down to basic knowledge. Whether you are acquiring or imparting it to another person, education is supposed to take place. It is also where a person, number one, develop skills essential to daily living. Number two, where a person learns social norms. Number three, where a person develops judgment and reasoning and learns, number 4, how to discern right from wrong. Let me go over this. We can say education is the process where an individual acquires basic knowledge, or the process where an individual imparts basic knowledge to another person. It is also where a person, number 1, develops skills essential to daily living. Number 2, learns social norms. Number 3, develops judgment and reasoning. And number 4, learns how to discern right from wrong. Are we holistically educated then with this definition? The ultimate goal of education is to help an individual navigate life and contribute to society once they acquire the knowledge. I believe this knowledge should transform the learner's lives first, before they can as well contribute to society. There are various types of education, but typically, traditional schooling dictates the way one's education success is measured. So he finished high school, she has university degree, and so forth. People who attended school and attained a higher level of education are considered more employable and likely to earn more. Is that the case? Why is education important? And this is World Vision's report. Why is education important? The report says, number 1, education helps a person hone their communication skills by learning how to read, write, speak, and listen. Number 2, the report says education develops critical thinking, which is vital in teaching a person how to use logic when making decisions and interacting with people. Number 3, according to this report, education helps an individual meet basic job qualifications and makes them more likely to secure better jobs. And the last one, which is number 4, according to this report, education promotes gender equality and helps empower girls and women. A World Bank report found that an extra year of schooling for girls reduces and gives women more control over how many children they should have. Number 5, education, according to this report, reduces child mortality. According to UNESCO, a child born to a mother who has a higher school diploma is 31% likely to survive past the age of 5. So education is really, really important. Is that not so? Yes, I think so. But let's analyze these reports and these sayings. Number 1, education helps a person hone their communication skills by learning how to read, write, speak, and listen. Do we really listen? Do we really listen? We're excited to be able to read, write, speak big English, as they say. Do we listen? Do we really listen? To listen, we need to make a conscious effort, not just to hear what people are saying so we can criticize and judge them, but to take whatever they are saying in, digest and understand it. Not only does listening enhance our ability to understand better and make us better communicators, but it also makes the experience of speaking to us more enjoyable by other people. And so do we enjoy speaking to people who equally listen? Do we listen? Or we just speak and speak and speak, giving instructions to people, telling them what to do, how to do it, without taking feedback from them as to whether they understood what we're saying? Communication is a cycle. You speak, somebody listens, give you a feedback that what you spoke is what they understood. Are we communicating, or we are just throwing words at people? We are just giving instructions. Do we really listen? Number 2, education develops critical thinking, which is vital in teaching a person how to use logic when making decisions and interacting with others. Critical thinking, logic, really? Majority of people just do not have the mental fortitude to ask questions. They accept and believe anything thrown at them. A culture that asking questions makes you rude, disrespectful, and disloyal. You are supposed to take anything handed down to you. You dare not speak to power. You dare not speak to leadership. You just have to accept the status quo and join the crowd. What then is the use of our education? You can't challenge the status quo. You can't have your own style. You are supposed to fit in, because that will make you disrespectful, rude, and disloyal. What then is the use of our education? If the purpose of education is to help us critically, to develop critical thinking, which is vital in teaching a person how to use logic, and yet we live in a culture where we don't even have the mental fortitude to ask questions, because that will make you rude, disrespectful, and disloyal. What then is the use of our education? Number 3, education helps an individual meet basic job qualifications and makes them more likely to secure better jobs. Yes, that is true. But who creates that jobs for the educator to work in? Have we sat down to analyze that? Haven't we noticed a lot of people who are not highly educated creating a lot of jobs for those of us who claim to be highly educated to work in? Is what education to do for us to enable us meet the basic job qualifications and make us more likely to secure better jobs? Better jobs in terms of what? Who creates those jobs for the educated to work in? Number 4, education promotes gender equality and helps empower girls and women. A World Bank report found that an extra year of schooling for girls reduces and gives women more control over how many children they have. Yes, this is true. The opposite is equally true too. This was evident at one of the places I spoke at during the celebration of the International Women's Day just last Friday. My heart was broken to hear that children as young as 12 were sexually active. Girls between 15 and 17 are mothers already. And these girls are forced to be with the fathers of their children just for their upkeep. Sad. Having children is a financial decision, honey. So if children are having children, what happens to our society? On the other hand of this, how does this influence our girls and women? Many become awesome career women and lose their femininity in the process. They reject every good man because they can feed, clothe, and pay their own bills. They think they don't need any man, but end up with the narcissist. They can't differentiate between good men and the players, and yet they are highly educated. They become more afraid of men who are squeaky clean because they see them as feminine men. They can't believe in that in this century, in this age, there are men who are still squeaky clean. So they see such men as female men, and yet they are highly educated. This year, our 3 thematic areas are: number 1, increasing our skill set to acquire more in career, in business, in investment, how to get extra. Number 2, building healthy, loving, and functional relationships. And number 3, taking good care of our health. Would this come to us because we desire, wish, anticipated, pray, and fast for them? No. We would have to make them happen. There are people who sit back and watch things happen. There are people who create the lives they want. And there are others who just get older, turn back and ask what happened. What really happened? Which category are you in? So let's dive deeper into these 3 for our discussion tonight. And number 1, increasing our skill sets to earn more. And that boils down to working for people and people working for us. You see, education, just like I've already explained, education and living, making life a living are 2 different things. I am educated. I believe in education. Having a first degree, master's, PhD, if you can go further, post-PhD, I believe in higher education. But education and living life are 2 different things. Higher education and living life are 2 different things, honey. How do we start something that will bring in an income or even a second income that we can invest if we don't need that money for now? Because just like I've proven to you, having children is a financial decision. Unless you want to be an irresponsible parent. But whether you are a mother or a father, having children is a financial decision. We cannot just buy into the "it takes God to take care of children" mantra anymore. If not, we'll let these children suffer. Having children is a financial decision. You cannot just have them because you're of age, because you are married, because you desire to have children. It is a financial decision. So based on our thematic areas, increasing our skill set to earn more, working for people and people working for us, you are highly educated. But education and living life are 2 different things, honey. Higher education and living life are 2 different things, honey. How do we start something on the side if you're a salaried worker to bring in an income or a second source of income for investing if you don't need even that extra? If you are young and you consider having children in the future, it is about time you started investing into those children's life. If not, the children will suffer and wouldn't be the fault of the devil. Children are a financial decision. So working for somebody, you can work for somebody and equally work for yourself. It was ignorance and naivety that made us, think that you can go to work and close and come back home, watch television for hours and return to bed and expect manna to fall. No. Whilst you are working for someone, whether it's a private institution, a government institution, you can equally develop your skill set, develop your gifts and talents, learn a trade, a skill, and monetize it to get another source of income and start saving, investing into your children's life. There are some people, regardless of how you manage, the money that comes into your hand is just a little. There is nothing you can do with it. Your children are of age. You need to spend money on them. I am not talking about luxury. None of my speeches, my videos, my teaching has been about luxury. If you can go the extra mile to have luxury, praise the Lord for your life. But I'm talking about the basic needs to give your family. And it won't, that won't come to us. We would have to work it out. So regardless of whether you're working for somebody in a government institution, in a private institution, you can have another source of income. There are two teachers I know. One is broke. The other is financially stable. Okay. Because after both of them close from their teaching careers, one will come home, one is into bakery. There is another teacher who is equal into sewing. She's in Ghana here, and she sews for people outside the country, and they pay her. So if these people are all working in the same sector, and one is broke, and the others are financially okay, is it the devil's fault? What extra can we do? The future is becoming expensive. And instead of sitting down, blaming government, blaming administrations, what can we do as individuals to make life living, especially for our children who never asked us to be here? Would we just desire, wish, anticipate, pray, and fast for a better life without doing anything to make our lives better? Is that possible? Honey, is that possible? That is not possible. We would have to make it possible. Number two, building healthy, loving, and functional relationships. This is the way we have lived all this while. And just like a wise man said, is it not insanity to do the same things over and over again and expecting different results? We are unloving, our relationships are unhealthy, dysfunctional, and yet we want our results to be functional, healthy, and loving relationships. How is that so, honey? How is that possible? Show me if you know, because I can't think of having that result when my inputs doesn't reflect that. So these are our three thematic areas. If you want to build healthy, loving, and functional relationships, we would have to live healthily. Our relationships have to be healthy. We have to come from the point of love and to be functional in those relationships. The higher education people get, unfortunately, the higher their chances of not having a loving, healthier, and functional relationships. Why? Because they see the other partner who is not so much educated as they are, as beneath them. Because they are highly educated, they see their partners as beneath them. The same education that was supposed to be a blessing to us. They forget that he has taken the commitments, the sacrifices and forgiveness of these people that they see as underschooled to maintain and sustain the relationship. It is because of that partner who you think today that is beneath you because you are highly educated is taking the efforts, the commitment, the sacrifices, the bunch of forgiveness of this partner to maintain and sustain the relationship. But today that you have higher education, you think these people are beneath you. With all your education, you can't have a meaningful conversation. You don't listen. When they share how they feel about the relationship and your attitude towards them, you get offended and abuse them with your words, and yet you claim to be highly educated. You make them feel they don't have any right to feel anything just because they are married to you, just because they are dating and courting you, and you claim to be educated. You are illiterate. No, it's not supposed to be so. Instead of education making us sensible and wise enough to understand our partners and to love them for who they are, it rather brings us the illusion of options that we never got before. That once we are highly educated, we think we are worth more, we deserve more, and a lot of things that these people, partners, would have to check in order to fit in with us. Really? Education all of a sudden gives us so many boxes to check to see how our partners deserve to be with us, instead of our education making us reflect on what we need to heal from, how we need to grow up, because our education, knowledge, and the new information we have acquired. When education is supposed to make us understand our partners the more, it rather comes to let us feel we are superior to them. They are beneath us. They don't match up to us, whereby we are so naive and so ignorant. Instead of our education teaching us how to love deeply and genuinely, it rather makes us feel superior and see our partners as beneath us. Why can't we understand that the notion our partner is to satisfy us? Our partner is to take care of all our needs. They don't wash anymore. If we are educated, highly educated, why can't we understand? Why can't we even satisfy? They can't even satisfy themselves with their own needs. And yet we think because we are educated, now it's the responsibility of our partners to take care of all our needs. So we have boxes they have to check in to qualify to be worthy of our love. Why can't we take good care of ourselves for our partners instead of expecting them to live our lives for us just because they decided to love us, just because they decided to marry us? They are supposed to live our lives for us. Just because I've decided to love and to marry and to be with you, just because somebody has decided to be with you, they are supposed to live your life for you. Is that right? Is that fair? Are we educated? Why is unlearning so difficult for us? How then would we unlearn if we can't? How can we relearn if we can't unlearn? A lot of people, both men and women, assume it's their partner's duty to satisfy them in bed. So they just lie down, expecting their partners to prove their expertise. And yet these people claim to be educated. You are responsible for your sexual pleasure, honey. Be fully present in the act if you want to enjoy it. And people out there are taking all kinds of concoctions and medications just to prove their expertise to their partners. Why? They can't have any meaningful conversation with you. It will turn into unnecessary arguments, and it will turn into emotional abuse and all that. They don't have the right to feel any way because you get offended. Even when you are treating them badly, they don't have the right to have a meaningful conversation, to discuss them. And yet you think you're educated. Aren't we illiterates? If all education got us was to read and write, even listening is a problem. How educated are we if this is the way we treat people? Check the way people who work with others, just because the company is for them, just because the business is for them. Look at the way they abuse people with their words. 1 week, 2 weeks into the next month, and salaries are not paid, and you dare not question them. Because to them, they are paying you. It's a favor they are doing you. Forgetting that people are trading in their time, their skill sets, to enable you build that organization of yours, that company of yours, and yet you see paying them as a favor. So they can't question why they've not been paid. And you say you're educated. You are not educated. If you're educated, you would have given them a reason why salary has delayed. You walk into the office and everybody wants to hide just because you are the CEO and you say you're educated. You are not. You can speak to anybody anyhow. People are older than you are, but for the sake of job, they are working for you, and you disrespect them to the core, and you say you're educated. You are not, honey. You are not. The real educated knows how to take care of other people's business and take care of other people. They don't treat people anyhow. So working for people, the fact that people work for you doesn't mean you should disrespect them. It's taking their time, their skill set, their knowledge base to put your organization into the limelight. It doesn't matter your investment into it. It's taking these people to work it out. Some of them have brought their clientele to your business just because of who they are, their personality. How dare you disrespect such people just because they are working for you? And you claim to be educated, some of us won't buy it. And you are equally working for someone. You claim to be highly educated, and yes, you do that work anyhow. Anyhow. If you think you are capable enough of starting your own, doing your own business, why are you there in the first place? That you can't respect anybody just because you are the educated person. You are the educated person, and yet you are working for the one who is not highly educated. Does that sound so well? Why can't you live, own your life, and live on your own terms? As long as you're working for somebody, honey, there are some privileges you won't get. Some of you want to live like the owner of the company. And I'm like, wait a minute, what do you mean? Do you know the sacrifices they've made? That is their blood. You want all the leverages that comes with the organization. Did you know how they started? When they started, where were you? You are just an employee. Put in your best and get paid. If you think you've outgrown the place, just leave and start yours. As long as you work for somebody, it might not go the way you want. You have decided to trade in your time and your skill set to work for somebody. Things might not go as you want, but you still have to show your superior respect. If you think because you are highly educated, you can't work under somebody who is not as educated as you are, why are you there, honey? Why are you there? Go start your own. Go start your own. All of us are not supposed to fit in. If you want to stand out, get out there and start your own. Why is unlearning so difficult? Even when the things we learned at school is no more applicable. Do you know knowledge is dynamic? Many of the things we learned, because we are not unlearning and relearning, we are stale. And yet it hasn't occurred to us to unlearn and relearn. And number 3 thematic area, taking good care of our health. Do you know and listen to your body? Do you do the necessary blood works? That is not for the rich, honey. Doing the necessary blood works is not for the rich. That is for those who care about their health. And to those of you who give testimony, for the past 7 years straight, I've never visited the hospital. Listen, that is ignorance and naivety at the highest level. Your body is communicating to you every day, and you are ignoring it because you don't know, you don't understand. Doing the necessary blood works is not for the rich. Do you know how to calculate your body mass index such that when you are getting obese, you will be able to know? When you wake up and you have fever, you go to the pharmacy shop to go and self-medicate. You don't do any blood work. You don't do any checks. You dress and you are gone. You are 40 years plus, and yet no blood works. Has it occurred to you that some of the diseases, when it hits the hospitals, in the first stages, any medical doctor can help you. But when you get into the 3rd and the 4th stages, not even your prayers can save you. So why would you just be there and get excited that for 5 years in the straight, 5, 7 years straight, you've never been to the hospital, and you think that is a testimony? That is ignorance and naivety in the highest core. What blood works do you do, and at what intervals? We want to do things differently so we can get a different and a better year. Do you do the necessary blood works? Do you even know the blood works you're supposed to do? As a man your age, as a woman your age. So we shouldn't take things lightly. Think because we desire and we think we deserve a better life, things will just happen for us. We would have to make things happen. We will have to live intentionally. Your body is speaking day in, day out. You don't listen. You don't pay attention. Some people get to the hospital only when it's emergency. Everything the body communicated, they ignored because they don't even understand it. Don't think it's a testimony for you to not visit a hospital a whole year straight, 2 years, 5 years, 7 years, and you think you want to live intentionally when it comes to your health. That is ignorance. That is naivety. You are in your late 40s, early 50s. You've never read anything about menopause. And when the symptoms start, you think, as we say in the African parlance, somebody is doing you. No. We are in the information age, honey. Even now, people in their early 40s are experiencing menopause. Can you be in your late 40s and you don't know anything about menopause? Perimenopausal syndrome, you don't know. The symptoms come, you don't know. And you're buying all the concoctions out there, destroying your kidneys by the day. instead of going to the health facility to find out what is going on with your body. So you see the way we've made the devil powerful, whereby he has no power and no control over us, is because of our naivety and ignorance. If we want to get a different and a better year, we would have to do things differently and better. And these are our 3 thematic areas. Don't take them kindly, don't take them lightly, and think things will just happen just because we desire, just because we pray and fast for them. We say we are increasing our skill sets to acquire more, either in our career, in our business, either in investment, how to get extra, because the future is becoming expensive. It won't just happen for us. We would have to make it happen. We want to build a healthy, loving, and functional relationships. It won't happen automatically just because we pray them more, we fast them more. We would have to be intentional. We would have to treat our partners right. We have to put our egos down. We have to check our beliefs, our mindsets. If we can't love ourselves and give to ourselves, what can we give to others? Fake love. We say we are taking good care of our health this year, and still there is nothing we are doing differently. We eat anything, drink anything, we take herbal in anything. And we assume that because we pray the more, because we are religious in our activities, these things are supposed to come to us. No, these things won't come natural to us. We would have to make them happen. If they were just normal and natural, many of the religious leaders would have had awesome, love life and marriages and relationships, but many of them have horrible marriages. So we have to live intentionally. Things won't come to us because we pray and fast and claim to be spiritual, religious. We would have to be intentional about the way we treat our partners. If it just comes to us because we have a badge that we are religious, all the religious leaders would have had awesome marriages and relationships, but they don't. Many of them are putting a public facade of successful relationships. Their relationships are horrible because the people you see in the pulpit are not the people in their homes. If you want to have a loving, healthy, and functional love life, we would have to be loving, healthy, and functional in the way we treat our partners. As simple as that. We can go around it. So if this is a year that we want things to be different for us, our thinking should be different. Our mindset should be different. We cannot just do anything anyhow and expect it to be normal. Haven't you prayed enough? Haven't you fasted enough? Why is life still the same? Why hasn't it occurred to us that aside the praying and fasting, we would have to be intentional? We would have to live right. We have to take care of our health. If in this age and time, we can just go through a whole year without any blood work and we still want to live healthy, then it means we are ignorant and we are naive. And it's so sad. So stop seeing this as testimony. When people say for a straight 5 years, 7 years, they've never visited any health facility, it's no more a testimony. It's ignorance and naivety. They can fall down anytime and die, and it wouldn't be the devil's fault. There are blood works you need to know, you need to do to understand what your body is communicating to you, to understand the lifestyle you need to inculcate, to even understand what you are supposed to eat and what not to eat. So don't take it lightly that things are supposed to come to us just because we deserve a better life. And no matter our educational backgrounds, we can still be literate according to this perspective. We can still learn, unlearn, and relearn. And every adult, a genetic adult, has the capacity to do that. So if all education gave us a certificate, we have lost, honey. You can learn, you can unlearn, and you can relearn anytime. Whether you are a high school leaver, you are first degree, second degree, master's, PhD, we can all learn, unlearn, and relearn. If we refuse to do that, things will not come to us just because we went to school and yet we are not educated. Deal with the things in your heart and on your mind. The betrayal, the anger, the resentment from childhood to love, to marriage, to raising children. Deal with these things, honey. If not, you can get all the black works done. You can eat healthily. You can exercise so well, and yet you will not be healthy. Be your own peace of mind. Be your own joy. Inner peace is the new success. If you are waiting for your partner to give you happiness and joy, you have missed it. Be your own peace. Be your own joy. Inner peace is something nobody can create for you because it's internal to you. It is inside you. Do you know people are going through worse experience than you, and yet they have inner peace, and yet they are happy? Why do you think life is complicated? Just because there's so much things going on around you. Yes, I understand your childhood traumas, but you are of age to determine that this will destroy you. In life, you can be better or better. You decide what you want to be. But I want to be better, regardless of my experience. I want to be better. I want to be better. So regardless of what I go through, I want to be better. The choice is yours to make. The choice is yours to make. Regardless of what you go through, you can still be better. You can still find happiness. You can still have inner peace. Your peace of mind can still be intact. So how can we learn, relearn and unlearn in these areas to make our lives different and better this year? The purpose of education is to replace an empty mind with an open one. This is Malcolm X, folks. The purpose of education is to replace an empty mind, a closed mind, with an open one. So if you meet people and they tell you they are highly educated and yet they are closed-minded, just wink and pass away. They went to school, the school didn't go through them. The mark of an educated person is the one with an open mind, not closed-minded. Only in the scope and area they're educated, their personal relationship is bad, horrific. You can't work with them, you can't date them, you can't love them, you can't marry them, and yet they say the education, close mind. Should education not provide us with an opportunity to reflect on life, acknowledge challenges, and chart a course for an empowered future? Is that not what education is supposed to be? That it will give us the opportunity to reflect on life, to acknowledge challenges as they come, and chart a course for an empowered life. Is that not what education is supposed to bring to us? Education. So saying I'm highly educated means is it not sad? Where are the opportunities around us when we say we're educated and we can't see opportunities around us? We can't sit down and reflect on life. We can't acknowledge challenges and chart a course for an empowered future. That every year we go through the same routines over and over again. And yet we desire for a better life, a different life. Would that happen for us automatically? Then do we say we are educated? Is education not supposed to equip us with the capacity to evaluate and analyze issues, to make informed decisions? Look at our social media today. The nonsense people throw out there, and they are highly educated. You have a common discussion with an average Ghanaian, and their level of reasoning, you ask, who bewitched us? And all these people educated, at least the basic education according to the definition we have. And yet we are so emotional, so sentimental. Party politics eating us, religion eating us. We can't use our brains anymore to make any simple evaluation and analysis. And yet we are highly educated, acquiring degree after degree, and no capacity to evaluate and analyze anything. That is why our beliefs are critical. Whilst I bring today's segment to an end, let me share the link so that those of you who equally want to comment can use the link to do so. So check the comment section. I'm going to post it there. If you want to come on live to share your views, your comments, your remarks, you can do so. It's disheartening for us to pride ourselves in being highly educated, whereas nothing about us shows that we are educated. It's so sad. So sad. Education is supposed to reflect in our own lives so that we would be able to help other people. I've shared the link there. You can use it to come on the live video to equally share your comments. It's so sad, honey. It is so sad. If you want to come on the live video, you can as well do so. It's so sad that people pride in the fact that they're educated. Who cares about my master's degree if I can't feed my own children, if I can't analyze issues, if I don't have the capacity if I can't critically think about issues? Who cares about that first degree if I'm still close-minded? That even opportunities around me I can see, that I can treat people anyhow just because I'm paying them or they are paying me. No. That is why beliefs are critical to my African sisters. Listen, sex is not a man's thing. If you want to have a loving, healthy, and functional relationship, sex is the bloodline. What is wrong with us? That we are using sex as a weapon and still take delight in praying and fasting for a healthy, loving, and functional relationship. Aren't we behaving like illiterates? Aren't we behaving like illiterates? So I'm educated, and yet I can't do simple analysis. I can't analyze issues and evaluate them. I see sex as a weapon, punishing my partner, and yet I say I'm educated. No, we are illiterates. We are illiterates. That is why our beliefs are critical. It doesn't matter the ladder of education we climb. If we don't check our beliefs, we'll still struggle and blame the devil. The devil is not powerful. It is because we are ignorant and naive and we can't find explanations for this. We attribute everything to the devil. Our beliefs are wrong. That is why we can't unlearn and relearn, and we think we are highly educated. To believe something means to consider it to be true, but not all our beliefs are true. Because many women didn't want to fornicate during dating and courtship, they switched that aspect of their brain off. Unfortunately, these women marry and forget to switch it on afterwards. And you're in somebody's home on his bed, and you think sex is a man's thing. Why are you there? So ignorant and naive about sex, even in marriage, despite their high education. And some of these typical primitive African men are a huge problem too, but they will never learn, unlearn and relearn. To them, sex is just the penetration, and yet they're educated. They won't learn anything about their spouse's body. And these people will not give them full control about their body too. And they are just wasting people's lives and time in the name of marriage. Make it work, you make it work. Live till you won't live. I'm making another human being suffer just because they've decided to build their lives with you. And we say we educated. Some of us won't buy it anymore. Our beliefs are critical. A belief is something that you believe or accept as true. You might believe something based on a fact, an opinion, or even an assumption. And that is the danger of belief. Can you imagine believing something based on assumption? When you live in the next 2-3 years and realize that assumption wasn't true, what do you do? So we are believing things and living it and making life with other people horrible and unbearable just because of that assumption in us, just because of that opinion that we grew up with. When you believe something, you might not have immediate personal knowledge, but you are satisfied that something is the way it is. You believe that this is the way life is supposed to be, although you have no personal knowledge, and that is why it's sad. Your belief system is not necessarily correct or accurate, and that is the danger of it. That is why there's the need to learn, unlearn, and relearn, because whatever you believe in might not be accurate or correct. Many of the belief systems we grew up with are not the truth. They are not right. A belief is best defined as an attitude that something is the case, that some propositions about the world are true, and that is your world. That is the way you believe the world is supposed to be. A lot of people don't believe that way, and they want to impose that beliefs on them. We have some philosophers who use that term belief to refer to attitude about the world. To them, that is the way the world is supposed to be, and you and I have adapted. You'll be there in a few years to come, based on continuous research, they'll come and tell you, no, now it is not true. And you have caused another human being to suffer because of your beliefs. Who bewitched us, honey? Who bewitched us? In rounding up, I've shared the link. If you want to come on live and share your comments, your opinion, you can click on the link in the comment section and come on live and share yours. We have some 10 minutes to round up for today's section. Share the video, just like I said. I don't know why Facebook is blocking my videos, so others would equally see. You can share on your timeline. The more we share, the more that ban is taken down, so other people get this education. We are just being unbearable, unreasonable, and yet we claim we're educated. We are not educated. We are not educated. Not at all. Not at all. No. Education is supposed to help us develop skills essential for daily living. Do we have that skills for daily living? Education is supposed to help us learn social norms. What social norms have we learned? Are they handed down to us by people who would never want to live their lives? People, you look at them in their 70s and 60s and realize, I don't want to live like this person. And yet they are handing down their beliefs on us. And we don't even have the mental fortitude to question that. Education helps us to develop judgment and reasoning. Can we develop judgment and reasoning? Education is supposed to help us learn how to discern right from wrong. Do we know right from wrong? And who made that right and who made that wrong? If education is supposed to help us to develop critical thinking, are we really critically thinking? From the conversations we have, are we critically thinking? Or we are just sentimental, emotional human beings? Are we really educated? When you can't question anything, a culture that when you question authority or leadership, you can't speak to power because that makes you disrespectful. It makes you rude and disloyal. So everything that is thrown at you, said to you, you have to say, yes, sir, yes, ma'am. What then is the use of our education? What then is the use of education? When upon all our certificates, anything people say to us, we say, yes, ma'am, yes, sir. We can't critically analyze them. We can't question anything. We can't question anything. You dare not speak to power. You dare not speak to leadership. You'll be branded as rude, disrespectful, and disloyal. And because many people are afraid, they don't have this mental fortitude, they also accept. Even when people are telling you nonsense, you still have to accept and let them see and know that you are living their nonsense. Who bewitched us in the first place? That everybody is supposed to fit in. When you try to stand out, it makes you disloyal and disrespectful. And yet we say we educated. Who bewitched us? What then is the use of the education that we acquire? If you can transform our own lives such that we can help other people with it, what then is the use of the education? Have you realized those who are making living are those who are living boldly, unconventionally? They don't care about education. Even if they are high school leavers, their brain is active. Critically, they can think. They can analyze issues. They can question everything and anything. You can't tell them anything and they believe. They periodically examine and re-examine their beliefs. They learn, unlearn, and relearn always. They are the ones creating the jobs for those of us who are highly educated to go and work for them. And we use our knowledge, our skill set to work for people who are not highly educated. So at the end of the day, you are doing everything, and yet you don't have the mental fortitude to do that same thing for yourself. When you hear starting your business, you think it's for the rich. No. The same things you are doing for somebody, you can do them for yourself too. If you can believe and trust that you can get good people to work with, how would people also believe and accept that you're a good person that they can work with? Your belief system is wrong. For how long would we allow people to disrespect us just because they are paying us? Can't we own our lives and live? They can look at your face and determine how they'll pay you, whereby that money can't do anything with you and for you, and you know it. With some of you are like walking institutions, the brain you carry, and yet you are comfortable in your comfort zone, working for somebody who is throwing anything at you. You are a walking institution, so wise, so bold, so unconventional. Anything you set your hands off on it would prosper. And you take pride in working for somebody else. The universe will throw you out of where you are very soon, because it's about time you owned your life and lived. The universe has acknowledged that you've outgrown that place, so it will throw you out very soon. When that happens, don't cry. Know that it's about time you lived. You are a great person, and yet everybody's taking you for granted. Can't you own your life and live? And stop this disrespect, because your mental health is at stake. Think about these things, honey. Think about these things. I know when you own your life and begin living on your own terms, it won't come easy. There are prices you'd have to pay. There are times you would have to go hungry. But as some of us have resorted, would prefer to go hungry than to just beg. We'll prefer to sacrifice our lives today to build something that in the next 5 years, 10 years would profit us so much. So we'll not just dress up and show up anywhere. Even if we have to live like recluse in order to build a life that we'll be proud of, lives that our children will salute us, that posterity would bless God for, we are determined to do that. Why are you afraid to own your life and live? And with all your education, with all your capacity, you just allow anything to be thrown at you. Your mental health is at stake, honey. Own your life and live. Own your life and live. If we are really educated, based on the definition early on, then know that we are supposed to learn, unlearn, and relearn. And once we have these three in place, nobody can stop us. Beyond the sky is our limit. There is no limitation except the ones in our minds. There is no limitation. Let's own our lives and live. Let's make education profitable to us. Let's make education transform our own lives before we go out there to save the world. Thank you for being on the live video. Thank you for those who watch later. Your comments are always welcome. And just like I said, those who are watching on Facebook, Facebook is blocking my live videos, so others will not see. I don't know why. So you can equally share. The more we share, the more that ban is rolled away. It's not just for those few of us who are here. You can share on your timeline. You can share on a friend's timeline so that this education moves. Thank you for being on. Oh, Mama Agnes, thank you for being on. Sami Mante, thank you for being on. Samuel Nelson, thank you for being on. Thank you, everybody. It's only those who comment. Father, thank you for being on. Much love and blessings, everybody. It's only those who comment that I can see. If you watch or hide and watch it, I can see. So if I didn't acknowledge you, it's not because I don't love you. It's just because I couldn't see you. Much love and blessings. It's not just enough to say we're educated. Let that education transform our own lives, so we in return will transform other people's lives. If not, then school fees Nigeria. If anything can just be thrown at us, if people who knew us 2 years, 5 years ago can have a conversation with us and see we have changed, if they can't have a conversation with us and see our language changed, then education hasn't taken place. If we change internally, it would reflect externally. If we are educated, truly educated, let that education transform our lives. The more knowledge and information we get, the more the way we have lived gives way for the new knowledge and the new information. We are not supposed to be the same forever. Cocoons are supposed to metamorphose into butterflies. If not, it's a waste of time. Much love and blessings, dear ones. I'll come your way again next week, Sunday. Your comments are welcome, just like I said. Good evening, everyone. Good afternoon, good morning, depending on where you're watching this from. Thank you for being on.